brutal and bloody 83 days. But their battle is over, for now. The wounded from Azovstal are carried out of the vast steel plant, filmed by the very force they've been fighting. Russia will be keen to air these images, which they say show surrender. But the Ukrainians say this deal is about survival. Tonight, as more fighters lay down their arms and are taken into Russian territory, Ukrainian leaders are keen to stress this was a way to save the country's heroes. For more than 2 months, the Russians have bombarded this industrial site. Analysts believe this latest attack used phosphorus bombs. But a small fighting force refused to give up. They may have also helped prevent Russia from pushing further north.
Thanks to the Mariupol defenders, the enemy was prevented from redeploying around 20,000 personnel into other regions, and so was unable to rapidly take Zaporizhia.
Civilians also used the site's vast network of tunnels as a refuge, aided by the soldiers. But supplies dwindled, and this cold and fetid bunker was cut off from the world. The situation became desperate. Finally, after 2 months, women and children were allowed out into the light. As they arrived at the evacuation centre, I met Katerina, who'd escaped with her 2 children. The boys, aged 6 and 11, are adapting to being back outside and play much as they did in the dark. Their games involved defeating the Russians. Their father is a fighter and remains at the plant.
Были такие прилеты ракетные, что у нас бункер аж.
Under the bombardment, the bombs were so heavy it felt like the bunker walls were moving, and the rooms themselves became smaller.
Иногда было, что может час.
Sometimes there was an hour break, and we hoped maybe that's it, maybe that's the end of it.
Katerina's home city of Mariupol has been hollowed out by the Russian assault. This once vibrant port is now a shell littered with death and destruction. From the depths of the steel plant, wounded Ukrainian fighters made a plea for safe passage. Many have already died from sepsis, they claim. The Russians say those injured will be treated, and there are reports of a prisoner swap. But it's not clear what will happen to the hundreds of fighters still at Azovstal. Among them is thought to be Katerina's husband.
I really want to help them, but I just don't know how. I feel really powerless. He is a very strong man, strong in spirit. He has been supporting me all my life.
The Azovstal fighters may have obeyed an order to save lives, but their resolve in the face of insurmountable odds has made them a symbol of Ukrainian resilience. Laura Bicker, BBC News, Dnipro.
Well, let's get the latest from Kyiv, the Ukrainian capital. Our chief international correspondent, Lise Doucette, is there. Lise, what is the significance of what's happened in Mariupol when you consider the wider context of the conflict?
This is a major marker in the war. Its bloodiest battle is all but over. And the story of Mariupol will now live in infamy as the place that Russia blasted, bombed, and besieged into submission. Mariupol is now a byword for suffering. It's known, I think, the world over. But it's also been a symbol of the defiance and determination of Ukrainian fighters. Since early March, there were predictions that the city would fall within days. The Ukrainian fighters held on. But now that Mariupol has all but fallen, it has given the Russians a significant strategic victory. For all of the guessing game about what President Putin wants to achieve in his invasion of Ukraine, one thing has been clear. The minimum objective is to secure this land corridor between the Crimean Peninsula, which Russia occupied in 2014, and the eastern Ukraine, where it's now focusing its fighting power and its fighting forces. And for all of Russia's missteps in this war, all of the blunders, it has taken ground in the south and in the east of Ukraine. And tonight, the Ukrainian military says that Russian forces are now fortifying those areas and digging in. It's going to be very, very difficult for the Ukrainians to take them back. But armed with their resolve, which seems to grow by the month,